We're reunited.
We are. Do you know what, Dan? I used to love going on your show. It was lovely, and it was I'm going to say, a very, very popular show. So let's hope you get back on. You're super. Go
Well,
on, ask me some
this is the
questions.
future, Kim. This is the future, right?
Actually, this is
Independent,
now the future.
digital, online. But
Well, do you know, I was asked to do my own podcast. Dan, do you know what, Lovey? I was like, Lovey, I can't be bothered. Do you know what? I got on telly. I made a few bob. I mean, I'm 82. I mean, and you know, I love my home life. I also do bits and pieces. I do lots of the clubs and things, and I'll go on. But you know, Dad, 82, let me enjoy my money, dear. Let me enjoy it, dear.
Kim, you
Yes.
look younger than the last time I saw you, though. Is there
Well,
a
I never
secret?
lie. No, to tell you the truth, I've had bits and bobs done, which I admit that, Dan.
Good.
If I said to you, I've never had a thing done at 82, you say, lying cow.
Well, I'd
But
just say you
let's
wouldn't
not.
look so sensational.
But what you've got to do is you've got to pay the money to get it done by professionals. If someone looks at you and says to you, oh my God, look what she's had done. She looks like she's been smashed in the face with a frying pan. You're going to the wrong people. You've got to look at people that say, she must have had something done. You can't tell because she couldn't look that young at 82. I don't hear, oh, don't go, look, my lovely, spend a few bob. Don't go to the cheapskates if you're going to get anything done. But I'm going to say, I mean, there's many people on television, you know this. There's nothing wrong with trying to look younger. You're a long time dead, lovely, you know. But when you say you look nice, oh, I had nothing done. Oh, please. What's wrong with
Carol
kissing it, Dad?
Vorderman. Carol Vorderman.
Look, you know what, my lovely? Nothing against Carol at all. Nothing whatsoever. Lovey, of course she's had stuff done. Look, Carol, you're a lovely woman. Stop this nonsense.
Yeah, just
Stop
admit
this
it.
moaning.
Just admit it.
Of course she's had stuff done.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
Amanda Holden. Amanda looks great, but no one. She looks great, Amanda. You've got to be honest, she does. But no one could look that young at her age unless you've had work done, unless you're. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I've had touches up, you know. That I've had loads done. I wouldn't insult your intelligence, my old ladies. Grow up.
no, and I love that. I love that honesty. And I have to say, Kim, when I was launching the new Outspoken show, do you know from my Outspoken club, you were the number one request of
But
guests
Dan,
to
let me tell you
return.
something. You see, love, when you're in, you know, but for those that are listening, when you're in show business, it's the phoniest business you
Hmm.
could be in.
Hmm.
Lying, cheating, conniving, crawly people. But you see, I got on television in 2003. I made a lot of money, Dan. Flaming Laura.
Huge
And
hit.
there
How
I
clean
was,
is your
61
house?
years of age, and suddenly I live in a big house I own. What goes with that is when you're younger than me, people will kiss the backside of the bosses at all the channels because they want work. Lovey, I don't want work. So I've got enough money to live on. I'm 82. I'm having a marvellous time. I like doing bits and bobs. But if television never rang me again, I don't care. So I can say what's true because one,
Yes.
I've got enough money to live on. But you see, let's be fair, Dan. If you're a younger person on television and you still, you need your money, you've got to kiss backsides. You mustn't dare say what you know to be true. You lie your teeth up because they're all listening, all the chiefs upstairs, those bunch of arseholes. And I can say it because I'm Kim Woodburn and I don't want work from you. Yeah,
Totally.
so you're a
Absolutely. I mean,
bunch.
come on. We've worked with all of these people, Kim. We know what they say about each other off camera, and then
Yeah,
they pretend to be best friends on camera. Well, I can't do that, Kim. And
no.
look, it did probably cost me my career in the mainstream media. But the thing is,
Well, it shouldn't have done, Dan. You're good at what you do. And it's disgusting. And I speak to so many people, friends of mine, I don't think Dan's back on. And everyone says to me, he was bloody good. I'm sorry, but I'm saying bloody. He was bloody good, and you were good. You're nice on the eye. You were very fair. You were very, very fair. And
we
I'm not being funny, but you see, you are right. you meet people in showbiz. I have no show business friends, I am glad to say, because there are two-faced bunts of whatsits.
Yep.
Big Brother House. Big Brother House is an example. I've worked with people say of people that you were, oh, she's lovely. And I said, well, she wasn't when I worked with her. She was one cow. So you see, they're all putting an act on. I will say that I think out of every 100 celebrities, 5 are nice. Now, that's maybe low.
Yes.
It's the truth.
That is so true. It is 100% true.
I know it's a very low, but folks,
but it's true.
Because
the vast majority of them only care about you when you can help them and when you're on the way up. And have you noticed, Kim, they only become friends with other celebrities who are more famous than them. They don't want to be involved with anyone who's on the way down. So celebrities are not genuine people.
Well, it makes me, I'm going to say this, I'm sorry, but I know people adore David Beckham. I don't know David Beckham. He's probably a lovely chap. If he crawls any more to get a knighthood, he's got a permanent brown ring round his nose, dear.
And Kim, he's not a nice guy. See, this is the other thing that I can't stand.
Did you remember what he wrote on that email and it came into the papers?
Exactly. That was the real David Beckham.
But you see, the Queen of England wasn't fooled by this. Our Queen Elizabeth, bless her, was not fooled by this. She was a shrewd, wonderful queen. I hope that King Charles, with respect to you, sir, I hope you're not fooled by him either. He's crawling all around you now.
He's going to be fooled.
But he wants a knighthood. Do you remember, you're being a journalist, they repeated it in the paper 2 weeks ago. I'd never forgotten it personally. When he was sending emails out to his friends a few years ago, and somebody took an email, probably one of the maids in his house, whipped it off. And I can't use the language, it's too vile. But he used C's and F's, you know what I'm getting at. And he said that all the public were ungrateful CUs, I can't, it's vile, and effing this, because I should have had a knighthood. And yet now he's with the king, smiling. And
totally.
King Charles III, don't do it.
I know, and you know, Kim,
your backside.
In those emails, he also spoke about the fact that he was only doing charity work to get the knighthood, and that he wasn't prepared to pay any of his own money, and that the charity had to put him on a private jet. It's ludicrous that he might get a knighthood.
Folks, you may think I'm being very harsh. I'm not, my loves. I'm not. I'm 82. I've got a few bob to live on. If I didn't have money to live on, I'd be kissed. No, if I didn't have enough money to live on, I'd be saying, aren't these people wonderful? I don't have to do it, lovely. I'm so proud.
I know, but the thing is, Kim, I couldn't do it. I couldn't fake it anymore. I had to start telling the truth. And I am so glad that I did, because I'm independent now.
That tells the truth,
yeah.
Dan.
And that's what people want now.
Dan, if there's anything wrong, if you know something to be totally true, I won't say anything that I haven't thoroughly gone into. If I'm not sure that a person's done something wrong, I won't say it, Dan. When I say things about people, it's because I've met them, I've heard them, I've seen them. So what I'm saying about them is absolutely true. And if I can't tell you, the public, the absolute truth, so I've taken off television, there's something wrong, my love. There is something terribly wrong.
But that's what's great now, Kim. You actually don't have to be on TV. I mean, this is on YouTube and streaming services. People can put it up on their TV, but I don't want to watch what's on Wokai TV or the British Bashing Corporation or Bias Channel 4 News or Sly News. They're not telling me the truth. I don't want to watch that anymore.
Because why, but seriously, I got into a business for a person that's straight, because I am straight. I can be straight and I've got a few bob. But I got into a business that is the most two-faced, bigoted, lying loads of toe rags show business. But thank you, God, I got a lot of money out of it. And you can look down, I've lived very poor. I lived in bedsits for £2 a week that you wouldn't keep a rat in. I was 17. And to have this money now and say I've lived in houses as a cleaner, and yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full. And you've had to really kiss the backsides. You need the accommodation. Dan, do you know something? I'm so glad I no longer have to do it. I am a kind lady. If you're a
You
nice person,
are.
I'm delighted to meet you. I'll give you my last, but don't come at me lying and two-faced. I haven't got a second in my life to put things in the papers that aren't true. And you people that believe them, you need your brains tested. You need your brains tested. You really do.
Well, Kim, what I wanted to do actually was ask you a bit about some of the things in the news at the moment. And you raise King Charles. And obviously, it's
Yeah.
been a terrible period for the royal family, hasn't
Oh
it?
gosh, it has. Yeah.
Cancer for
Gosh,
both him
lovely
and
Catherine. I mean,
Catherine.
oh,
Oh, I know, just awful. And then how do you feel about the fact that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are still putting the royal family through all of their nonsense?
you see, Dan, he was born into the royal family, Prince Harry. So he knows all about what he should and shouldn't do. He's had a very privileged life. He's a royal. My gosh, you couldn't have a more privileged life, could you? He should never have married Meghan Markle if he wanted to stay as a royal. It was obvious, Dan, when he brought that young lady across and he got engaged to her and they sat on the sofas. It was obvious from that day she was in charge. It was obvious. I'm sorry. She sat there. He sat like a little sheep. He knew what he was getting at. He should have married a person who would fit in with the royal family. After all, he married the wrong girl. He's been a fool. But what annoys me is that I can't understand. At the end of the day, you see, you've got a double thing here. Let's bear this in mind. Prince Harry loved his mother to pieces. We
Yes.
know that. We
Yes.
know that. Lovely girl. She died tragically, 36. And of course, but you see, I'll say it, let's speak up for him as well as pull him down. When you see Camilla Parker Bowles, Queen Camilla, and his mother was going to be Queen Diana, and you know that that woman was sleeping with her husband, even when that little boy was a little boy. He's always been having an affair with Camilla. And you know, if it wasn't for his affair with Camilla, that, look, folks, this is the truth. If you don't like it, lump it. If he hadn't been seeing Camilla and hadn't neglected Diana, she would not be away with her boy. She wouldn't have a boyfriend. She wanted to make it work with Charles. She wouldn't be dead. And I'm sorry.
So do you
folks,
think Harry blames Camilla for the death of his mother?
well, I think he thinks that Camilla, knowing that Charles was married, should have said, look, you've now married Diana. You've known me for years since he was in his 20s. You've married, but you've got two sons. This can't continue. You chose to marry Diana. It's over. But he was absolutely smitten with Camilla. I mean, look, sexually, some people just get on, don't they? I mean, and you now, Dan, I'm
There
sorry.
was something electric between those two, Kim.
Look, another thing to hear, and Diana heard this tape as well. Now, hurt as a wife.
Yeah.
He wishes he was a tampon lived inside her. And she's
good.
saying, you could be a packet of tampons. Now, Dan, that's what was said by the King of England. Now, his two sons heard that tape. Diana heard that tape. And she's a young, beautiful girl. Now, do you blame Harry for a lot of this as he won't accept Camilla? Do you know Harry's done wrong things? Well, would you, if you were Harry, accept Camilla and go along standing on the balcony with her and giving her a peck on the cheek? He's done wrong with Meghan, but the poor man is so hurt, broken, and isn't strong enough to handle it, whereas William is a tough nut, will make a super king. But I look at William sometimes. I think he's a lovely young man, and Catherine is beautiful. And I often look at William and think, William, how can you stand beside Camilla Parker Bowles on that balcony when you know your mum should have been there and she was his mistress even the day he married your mum, which William does know that. And I wonder I admire him, but I don't understand it.
So have you forgiven Camilla for what she did, Kim?
No, and I don't forgive Charles either. You know, he could have married Camilla Parker Bowles. He met her when he was very young. She married the other chap. But he wanted his cake and he wanted to eat it as well. Don't most men? Don't most men come along? Oh, stop the nonsense! I mean, a man would do a frog who would stop jumping, dear. Let's not be silly. Camilla was always there to sleep with him whenever he wanted, to spoil him and pamper him. She was always there. Now, when he married Diana, Camilla said, "Look, you've chosen. You know, you're not with me. I've got to go." Do you ever remember a situation which was terrible? When he was at a party at one of his friends' big houses, and Diana turned up, and Camilla was always in the background at the parties, and she couldn't find Charles, and somebody said he's downstairs. She went downstairs, and there was Camilla and a friend of Charles and Charles. And Charles, this has been in the paper, somebody ran out of the room with his friend, you know, and she said to Camilla Parker Bowles, Camilla said, "What do you want?" She said, "I want my husband." She said, "Diana, everybody loves you. You're beautiful. You've got two gorgeous sons." She said, "Don't you think you've got..." She said, "No," she said, "I want my husband." And Camilla just walked out. And yet we have Camilla, Queen Camilla. The British people, you're chicken-livered, every one of you. And I tell you what, you know you don't like Camilla. She looks like a bag lady. She looks.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what, Kim?
Dan.
I've been honest
Sorry,
about
Dan,
my.
Have you seen the way she dresses?
Well, I've been honest about my views about Camilla. I was very concerned about her becoming queen because we were lied to. We were always told that she was never going to become queen, and I felt very badly misled over that.
She could be queen consort. I don't know whether the queen, having died, would. She said she could be a consort. Don't forget this: Charles is head of the church. He's broken his vows to the church because, one, he's not supposed to marry someone that's been divorced. So he's head of the church, but he's broken all the vows off. Yes. So he's not head of anything. I'm sorry. Diana would have made a super queen.
I know.
She was loved.
She would have been. We adored her. I adored her.
And how people can see Camilla and Charles, Queen Camilla. God, do you know what? I'm sorry.
But the problem is, Kim, is that I believe that Meghan is almost cosplaying as Diana, and she's emotionally manipulated Prince Harry into getting him to believe that she's like the new Princess Diana, and she's nothing like Diana, Kim, because all Meghan Markle cares about is the moolah, the big bucks, and being really famous, and Diana didn't want that.
Gosh, hasn't done bad for a girl, has she?
No.
I mean, she was in a so-called suits, but you know what? Bless Prince Harry. That poor young man. He never could cope, could he? He was always the weaker of the two boys, a softy, but he adored his mother. And if he can't bear to be near Camilla Parker Bowles with his father, Queen Camilla, I don't think I blame him. I don't think he should have married the girl he married because she wasn't prepared to be a royal.
Okay, and I understand that, Kim, but there was no reason for Harry to turn on William in the way that he did. And what about turning on Catherine as well? He actually revealed the private text messages between Catherine and Meghan in the book. So I would almost understand if it was just, okay, I can't accept Camilla because of what Camilla did to my mother. I would actually have understood that and accepted that. But the way he's treated William and Catherine is below the belt.
I don't understand it, Dan. I don't understand it. And in the book, I bought the book. Why would you discuss how your brother William, who's a human being, lost his temper with him and thumped him or something, broke his necklace, and he fell into the dog bowl? That is personal and private, and his brother William is going to be the King of England. Harry, have respect. Totally. Put yourself in your brother's position. Totally. He's hurt William terribly, hasn't he? Yep. He's hurt him terribly. I mean, William must feel very sad about this, you know. But William, I think, is going to be a great king. And Catherine's going to be beautiful. I think I shan't be around. I'll be in my grade kicking up the daisies. It would be, oh, excuse me, have a gin,
Oh,
excuse me,
I
I
hope
get
not.
parched.
I think you've got 20 more years in you, especially because do you remember that was the Queen Mother's secret, wasn't it? Bit of gin in the afternoon, Kim.
A bit of gin, dear. Half a bottle of gin for lunch and half for supper.
Now, Kim, I've got to talk to you about the
Something.
political situation too. What
Oh,
do you
God.
make of slippery Starmer as Prime Minister? You know, I never wanted it to happen.
Let me tell you something. I don't know whether you feel the same, Dan. You know, Rishi Sunak, you couldn't dislike Rishi Sunak. A sweet,
Oh, I could.
sweet gentleman, but not a prime minister, my lovely.
No way.
A gentleman, sweet and kind, wouldn't harm a fly. You could imagine his ministers
Yeah,
are
but he was
winding around their
hopeless.
finger.
He was utterly hopeless.
But, too gentle, too polite to be our prime minister. And it struck me that his cabinet had him round their finger. It struck me. I mean, he didn't settle the immigration situation. He did nothing about that. He did nothing about the boats. They were all going to go to Rwanda. It never took off. But I can't dislike Rishi Sunak. I don't think anybody dislikes him. He was a softy, a gentleman, lovely, but not belonging. But the problem was, Dan, I've spoken to many
Mm.
people. I'll tell you something. It's unfair to judge somebody on what they look like. I know it's unfair, but we do it. Now, I've always looked at Keir Starmer. I know it's not right. I know that. It's childish. I don't like him on sight. No, I don't know why, Dan. There's something about that man. When you see him, you go, oh, he hasn't got a personality.
No.
There's nothing you can't see, but he's warm. He's not warm. He's just a person that you dislike on sight. And the fact he got in was only because so much promises were broken by the Conservative government that he got in. Whether he'll do any good, gosh, I don't know, my love. I mean, I suppose one could argue they could do much worse than the Conservatives. I suppose you could argue that because
Well,
they achieved
I
nothing in
think he
14
could.
years, did they?
I think that's what's terrifying. He could. And what about our old mate, Nigel Farage? I mean, I reckon he could be Prime Minister by 2029, Kim, at
Now,
this
let me
rate.
tell you, I went to GB News one night a few years ago, and he was on there, and I had a talk with him. And you know what? He's awfully polite.
Yes, he is.
Do
A
you know
gentleman.
that man has impeccable manners? He is just lovely. I sat and chatted, and he's just a charming, no nonsense. There's a slight big head on him. He's just Nigel Farage, and I think the jungle proved that. A thoroughly nice man who believes what he says and makes a lot of sense. I would love to see him as our Prime Minister. I think he's fair, he's down to earth, he knows what's going on. He knows he's not going to make excuses for these bad things. He's sorted out. Unfortunately, we've now got 5 years of Labour. God help us all, dear. Good job I've got a few bob. I'm a pensioner, dear. I couldn't live on my pension. But I
No.
don't know why I don't like Keir Starmer. I just look and I go, oh, I know it's wrong. It's childish, but he's dislikable. I don't like.
Yeah, I can't. I have to be honest. I can't stand
But
him.
he
I don't
got
trust
it.
him.
Well, do you know what? Actually, you know what? You realise now? Look, oh, so I'm sorry, Keir, dear. I'm sorry. Sue me. I'm loaded. I can pay you. Do you know what I can't deal with now? Look, I know it sounds childish. Well, we used to go to school. All the little boys had funny haircuts, you see. And he used to pass down the side, and he had a double crown, you see, and the kids, 6 hairs would stick up on the kids' heads, always here, stick up, you see. And you used to think, why don't you cut them off? He's got the same, hasn't he?
Yes,
Well,
he
I want to
does.
take them
Yeah.
and cut them off.
Yeah.
These little boys'
I
hairs
know.
and the little boys' haircut. I say, oh, chop them off.
And he's put on
He
a
could
little
be a
bit of
lovely
weight.
man,
He's put on a bit of weight as well.
put on a bit of weight, well, let's face it. But Sir Keir Starmer, I'm sick of all these knighthoods, but I'm sick. It means nothing. It means nothing, these titles they give people. I mean, when I was in my 60s, we did a show called Rich, Famous and Homeless. And it took 5 of us. And we slept on the streets. Well, some were naughty. It was freezing cold weather. I slept on the streets for 4 nights. And we raised 400 odd thousand for the homeless. I didn't go to Ladyship or a Britannia or anything like that. These knighthoods and
The
these
whole
titles
system
are
is a farce,
ridiculous.
Kim. They look after each other. It is the political establishment looking after their mates. And I think actually the whole thing is so wrong because it's always the wrong people that are
Why do we, the
rewarded.
British, tolerate it?
Well, I don't think
Why
we
do
should
we, the
anymore.
British, tolerate this?
I don't think we should anymore. And that's why I do predict that there's going to be a Prime Minister Farage by 2029 because we need
Hope so.
fundamental reform of our country. Oh, Kim, what about Trump and the shooting? I mean, goodness.
Well, of course, to shoot
a
anybody
millimetre
so
away
well.
from
Now let's
being dead.
look. That man must have a charmed life. If you saw right through his ear, half an inch would have gone through his brain, but he turned his head. I don't think it's right to try to assassinate anybody. I'm sorry, Dan. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting and vile to do that to any human being. Awful. But Donald Trump, he's going to be the president, isn't he?
I think so,
It's going to be very entertaining, but I wonder if it's going to be in all the right ways. You know what I mean? Because he's a showman,
I think
isn't
he'll
he?
be different this time around, actually. I think
He'll be different.
he is a changed man after that near-death experience, which isn't a
Do you
surprise.
think he is?
I really do.
But well, I think he had masses of confidence, which he needed to get where he's got. But I said to my husband, I said, Pete, this is going to affect the rest of his life because he stood among all those people confidently when you stand in open crowds. I don't care how many security men you've got, you're a target. And I think now he's been shot, we might see, oh dear, a more, well, if I use the word humble, it sounds silly in the same words with Trump. We might see a more humblest type of, because I think
Yeah,
they're never going to be
totally.
the same. Would you want to walk through a crowd ever again if you were Trump?
No,
Would you ever?
no.
I mean,
But Kim, he was so
he
brave
was
in
very
that
bad,
moment.
wasn't it?
And that's why I
Yes,
think
Kim.
he's won the presidency. That was true courage, true
But
bravery.
Dan, maybe you should. Do you think, or if you don't want to comment, do you think Trump would make a good president? Do you
Yes,
think he would?
absolutely. Absolutely. I think, Kim, he is our last hope, actually, to save the Western world. Because the thing is, Kim, this wokery, which is taking over, right, is actually dangerous. So have you seen all of this madness, biological men competing in women's sport, for
You're
example?
totally wrong.
Trump is going to cut all of that out. It's going to all be gone. Also, there were no wars when we had President Trump, and he doesn't want the war to continue in Russia and between Russia and Ukraine. He doesn't want the war to continue between Israel and Palestine. And I don't want wars. I genuinely
None
believe
of us want wars,
he's what
Dan,
we
do
need.
we? Wars, the killing and the savagery. It's so sad to watch it, Dan. There's
Yeah,
no, there's
and
no
Trump
goodness here at
Trump
all.
always says Putin would not have invaded Ukraine if I was still president. And you know what, Kim? I believe
think
him
he's right.
because he didn't invade Ukraine when Trump was president first time around.
No. Trump is nutty enough because he's got a nutty side to him. There's a
Yes, he
nutty
does.
side, which I think you actually need.
Yeah,
You
well, we
need
have it, don't we, Kim?
this
We have a
eccentricity,
nutty
this
side.
tantrums, and I quite agree with you. He's tried it on with Biden. Bless Biden.
Oh,
Let's
what's
stick
going
to
on
Biden.
there?
Look, I love President Biden. Does seem a lovely chap. He's a granddad. He's been in politics since I was a little girl. I've grown up with him in the White House. He's a lovely man, but the man is, well, bless him. There's nothing, Dan, if he's not well because of his age, you can't say anything rotten about that. But he really should not go in for the presidency. Bless him. Like him, love him. A peace-loving granddad. Mr. Biden, please step down. You're not well.
I don't think
He's
he
not
could even
well,
be
Dan.
president. That's the point. I think they need to
not
enact
well.
the 25th Amendment. And what is his wife doing, Kim? She's like a controlling mad woman. Why would you want to put your husband through that when he's clearly so unwell?
I've said that to my husband. Why wouldn't she say, in the quiet of my love, listen, you're not well. I'm your wife. Listen, you're not well. I see you wander off. I don't know. Does she want to continue as the first lady? Is the ambition she feels stronger than what she feels for her husband? Because if he was my husband, my lovey, I said, I love you very much. No, let's be together. So that we'll never know. We're not in the room with them. But there's something very strange going on, isn't there? And she
Very
let that poor
strange.
man. Oh, bless him. Bless him. It's sad, isn't it? It's
Now,
awful.
Kim, you know I have to ask about our two
Not my
favourites.
sex life. Not my. No, no, I warned you. Not my sex life,
No, not
which
that.
is
Which
non-existent
because I
here.
know that's very
My
vile.
husband is ordered a mirror over our bed, dear, so he can watch us having a flaming headache. So don't ask about my sex life in the name of God.
Okay, I promise I won't.
Sex
I
life.
promise I won't. Almost as controversial. Can you believe what happened with Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby?
Well, you know
Both
that's
off the
touching with
TV.
me. Look, it had to come, didn't it, Dan? You see, when Philip Schofield, give him credit. If you could take credit away, you can give it. Was a super, super presenter years ago. He knew his stuff. He got too cocky. He was fussed, treated like royalty by the television company he worked for. He thought he was invincible. He could say what he got cockier and cockier because I went on his show many times over the years and I found him very pleasant. But the last 5 or 6 years when I went on his show, he was horrible. He was horrible. He was cruel and nasty and sniggering. It was horrible. When I went on, after coming out of Big Brother, I went on, and all right, um, he was horrible. I mean, I think everybody knows I'm not exactly a wilting flower, but Dan, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
And this might shock the lot of you, but it's the truth. If you don't like the truth, don't, just turn off. I I don't know. I can't say what I mean by this, but I know I'm a human being. I've never been the same since I went to Big Brother.
Yeah.
It hit me very hard. It hit me. You know,
And
I
you went
joke.
through
It
hell
hit
on
me
that
very hard.
show. And
They
then the
crucified
shocking
me on
thing
that
is
show,
that
Dan.
Philip was victim blaming you. He wanted
Well, when I
you to
went
think
on
that it
his
was your fault.
show, well, I mean, I went on his show and he said, why'd you go on? I said, for the money. When I got a massive amount of money, Dan. And then when he said, well, what did you earn? What do you earn? He went over the top. He was using me to entertain himself, not caring about me at all. And Holly, the thing I'll say about Holly is, Holly did not contribute to that show in any shape or form for the years she was on it. What did she do, Dan? Now, he's mouthing off, and all you got from Holly was, Philip, Philip. Did she ever say, excuse me, Philip, I don't agree with what you're saying. Let me tell you what I think. Not once in all the years she took no part in being a presenter, none whatsoever. Highly paid, sitting going, oh, Philip, what the hell's that all about?
But then, don't you find it fascinating, Kim? And this is what you were talking about earlier: the grotty, nasty, underhand world of showbiz. That it was actually Holly who ended Philip's career. She put the boot in. She stabbed him in the back in the end. She
But you see,
turned.
Miss Sanctimonious Holly, the lily white hen that never laid astray, why did it matter? We don't know the full story, but we do know. That's what we know. You can't make it up. Apparently, Philip Scove has been proven that he had a sexual relationship with a much younger man who worked
Yes.
on the set.
Yes.
Now, one, why was any of Holly's business? Why was any of her business? She's got her life with a husband and her 3 kids. He's married. He's having. What has it got to do with her? It's the working relationship that. So why did she make capital of it and say she was disgusted he'd done it and he hadn't told her? Why did he need to tell her, Dan? He can do what he wants sexually. And I'm going to say something that's going to shock you. I don't care. Sue me. Look, if that man wants to have an affair with a much younger man, providing that young man is of sexual consent age, then I do not think he did anything wrong. Now, I'm sorry, the man was not a junior in age. He was of the age of consent. He was not taken advantage of, and he had a sexual affair with him. So why do we care what Philip Schofield did? Do you care when a man's married and he's in his 70s on television and you see him around the shops with a bird of 20 that he's having a sexual affair with, and he's not been seen, does anybody care? There should not have been capital made. He went with a man of consensual age to time with his missus. So
you think Holly was disloyal to put the boot in?
Absolutely. She delved into something that was nothing to do with her, Dan. I mean, if I work with somebody, say I work with a fellow presenter, and that fellow presenter is married, and he or she is having an affair outside, I have to find out. It's not my business, Dan. If they're nice with me, Dan, that's a personal. I don't like it, but it's not my business, lovey. Why did she? I think she wanted to take the whole show over herself.
Yeah.
She wanted to be the one to pick another presenter. She thought she was so important they'd never get rid of her. But, once Philip went, oh, come on, Dan, that show was a bore.
So you don't think she had the intellectual heft to present on her own?
I think she was conceited enough to believe, yes. And look, let's be truthful. Holly, I am not just saying this for the sake of being nasty. I'm telling you the truth. You haven't got any personality at all, my love. It was only because Philip was a bit abrasive and he would give you what for. And Holly, you sat there going, oh, Philip. Not once did I ever hear you when he was going, because he went on at many people on that show. Not once, Holly, did you ever turn around and say, and I used to watch it a lot, oh, Philip, don't say that. That's awful what you're saying. Not once. You hopped on his bandwagon because you knew he was popular. Without Philip, you could never have run that show. You have no personality, and it backfired on you. Serves you right, but you didn't be trying to get your partner dumped off a show. He was dumped, so were you.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live. Kim, we actually have a few highlights of some of your time on these TV shows. And if it's okay with you, we can watch along so we can see some of these moments and you can comment on what happened and what you think about it now. And actually, the first moment that we do have for you to watch is that famous confrontation between you and Phil. So watch, but you can comment along. You can give your view.
Yeah, it's the truth. I tell the truth.
You do.
Go in that house for 24 hours. They sit there. Yeah. And watch it for 45 minutes a night. Then you tell me why I was annoyed.
Just asking you a question.
No, you're not, Phil. No, you were not at the beginning. Should have had Phil on here and stayed neutral. No, in my opinion.
No. It's only asking questions. That's our job.
Is that the way you do it?
That's our job.
Well, Holly hasn't said a word that I would.
Well, what I'm going to say is thank you very, very much. It's been lovely having you here.
What
today.
a delight to see you.
I'm so sorry you feel that way.
You big phony.
So what happened after that, Kim?
It just walks out. He's a little shit, isn't he? I'm sorry, folks. I did say shit. Oh, no. Look, you saw his attitude. He was Mickey-taking. He was totally Mickey-taking. Oh, but Kim, I only said he was laughing his socks off at me when he picked the wrong one, the piece of filth. He wasn't in that house. He doesn't know what went on. And you didn't play the bit where he said, what did you earn? I thought, what do you earn? He's an innocent little puppy. I liked him at one time. You're a good presenter, Phil. You got too cocky and forgot your manners, and I'm glad you're gone, you little pig.
Well, what's interesting, Kim, is you started, in a way, the downfall because you were the first person who actually, on air, called Philip Schofield out. Because lots of people had had that treatment from him in the past, but no one had actually called him out on air, live, in front of the nation.
People want... Look, people, for some reason, you're so foolish, you people. You want to be seen as perfect. You never put away. You'd be thought more of if you'd all speak up and tell the truth. Why do you never tell the truth? You know what Phil was like. You know what he was like. I'll stand up for him. For this young man, I don't think he did anything wrong. Consensual sex between adult age, nothing wrong at all. So if you think it might surprise you, in fairness to him, nothing to do with you and I. He became obnoxious.
So you're not just you're attacking him for the way he treated people on air, not because of his sex life behind the scenes.
Oh, not at all. Look, he can do a frog that stops jumping to it. It's not my damn business. I mean, if he wants to do the frog in the garden and enjoy each other, lovey, the day I get it, that's his own business. And we've got to get these facts right. I mean, if I want to go and do a few Chippendales, I mean, I'm at the age and so are they. Good luck to me. I don't want to do me at age 2, would they? When I've made a few applications, they haven't replied. No, but seriously, your sex life, if I find it's consensual in adults, it's got nothing to do with any of you people. But he became obnoxious and nasty and cocky and hurtful. And he was aided and abetted by the channel he worked for.
Oh, yes.
So I blame the channel.
They covered up so much for him, ITV. That was the problem. And
I hated that, the Queen. Do you know what?
When they skipped the queue.
Now, look, I have 2 friends, dear friends. They're my mates. 2 gay guys live together. They're lovely. They're my best mates in the world. One of them had a bad accident years ago, so he doesn't need a wheelchair unless he stands for a long time, but he can't do it. They queued up for 6 hours. And in the end, the John Ambulance came along and saw they were struggling and said, we were giving people wheelchairs. They were jolly helpful, John Ambulance. And they sent us a photograph. Here we are, still in the queue in a wheelchair. There, my friend, he was sitting there. I saw that day in the paper, Holly Willoughby going across this field, crowds in the back, some in wheelchairs, have been there hours on end. And she was laughing and giggling at the back of Phil, and he was laughing and giggling. They sneaked in. They put on press tags, which was given them by Frizzell. Right, let's
the editor of the show, yes.
They sneaked in, and they were photographed. They wanted to be seen that they cared about the Queen so much. They queued for hours. Stopped. You didn't. And she was 100% part of it. Has she ever been reprimanded? What sort of girl who sits her sweetness and light will go in front of people in wheelchairs, sneak in and see the Queen lying in state, and she leaves behind people in wheelchairs? I'm not queuing up to see the Queen. The Queen's not worth queuing up for. It was disgusting. And she lied, and she lied, and she lied. She's as bad as Phil. She's a little horror.
Kim, then you went on Big Brother. So the next clip I actually want to look at is this argument that you had with Nicola
You're going to get me a bad
McLean.
name, you.
So this was with Nicola McLean in the house. Well, no, Kim, because people want to hear what actually happened, because people still talk about these things now. So let's have a look at this.
Do I get in the street? Do I get in the street now?
And you can
How's
commentate
Nicola?
along.
Shut up. I get that now. How's Nicola? Shut your gobs.
So let's have a look at this, Kim. And you can commentate along.
I said they were nasty, vicious, horrible people,
Vile.
and I don't particularly want to meet them. I've told them that. I said, when I met you, you're lovely. So stop your bloody troublemaker, Mother McRae.
I told you.
You're a little sir,
I told you you'd like them, didn't I?
Oh, so you're Mrs. Right, are you? Whoa. You see, you would love that to have been real. Oh, you're lighting up.
Nick.
We were having a joke.
No,
He said, go on, Kim. Stop it. Grow up, madam.
I'm asking you what you're talking about.
Shut up. Don't play the innocents with me. You've caused most of this trouble in here with your little gang. Don't start with me.
And you felt really bullied in that house, didn't you, Kim?
Oh, I was totally bullied. And an older woman. And I wouldn't, but it really got, and I wouldn't think it would get to me, but I was bullied by all of them. They even took my necklace. I wear lots of jewellery. It went missing. And
Is it hard to see that?
It's very, Dan, honestly, I'm not a doctor. I've never been the same since. You see, I was born into a very unhappy family. There was no affection. There was nothing. I won't go into it. I was treated very brutally. And I've always been a loner, Dan. Believe it, I'm a loner. I don't mix with many people. I've never thought people were going to do me any good, Dan. They were going to. And when I went to the Big Brother house, I'd never found myself with all those people on my own in my whole life. You notice you don't see me out with loads of people. Because people I find very unkind. So when I was in that house, I found it hard to cope with the fact that I knew they were mocking me. I knew they were taking the mickey out of me. I knew they were enjoying it. And I felt powerless. And I got plenty of money. Now, why did I go in there, folks? I didn't have to go in. I got paid a shed load of money. I could have bought a small terraced house with the money they paid me. I've been poor. I thought this will also go towards me retiring. I won't be on telly much longer. Didn't have to do it. I did it for the money. But by God, I suffered for the money.
Well, of course.
And I will tell you something. Those people in that house, most of them were scum. Scum.
Yeah. And then, Kim...
I won't take it back. And I'll tell you what happened, Dan. This will shock you.
Yeah.
It was a young man who I can't name. Okay. He's always been on the set. Because I've many a times gone on to comment on the desk. Many times to be behind the desk. And that young man... Yeah. And that young man... Oh, I thought I would name. He was staff. And, he came up to me and he had a tear in his eye. I couldn't believe it, Dan. He said, Kim, he said, I'm not going to put you sitting with them. They'd come out and they're all sitting on one side. He said, can I say something to you, Kim? And he said, I'm so sad. What's wrong? He said, well, we've been going back and forth, me and the other staff in the green room taking drinks and that, when they were all in there waiting to come on stage the last night. He said, Kim, I would never tell you, and I will never forget as long as I live, what they were saying about you. He said, Kim, it was vile. He said, Kim, it was so vile. I've never heard anything like the lot of them in there saying the most putrid, vile things about you, Kim, cruel and brutal. He said, we were going in and out serving drinks, he said. He said, vitriolic cruelty and brutality. He said, Kim, I've never told you what they said. He said, but as a young man on this set, I will never forget it. God. So he said, I'm not going to put you with them. And he took a chair and he put it over the other. He said, because I don't want you near them. And he noticed he put a chair. That's how vile they were. So
and then and then you made this brave decision, though, to go and face off with Colleen Nolan live on her show Loose Women. And this became one of the most iconic viral TV clips in the history of British TV, because you wouldn't
I mention this
take
to you,
it
Dan?
lying
when
down.
They asked me to go, no, let me mention, this is the filth of television. I mean, I made money, but the filthy sods. When they rang my agent, they said, we're shocked. Would Kim come on television on the show? I said, no, just a minute. Colleen Nolan wants to chat with you about what happened and try to find some reconciliation. I said, they said, honestly, the least you do is give her a chance. She's not out in any shape nor form to upset you. She knows it was wrong and she wants to put it right. I thought, so I went on. Dan, it was lies. It was total lies.
Well, let's look at what happened, because then you can tell us. But they basically put you on trial, Kim. They had Janet Street Porter-Jest as a judge. But let's have a look and you can comment on it as we go.
It's terrible.
Right. And don't go by people you see on television. Please don't do that, folks. Don't go by what you see on television, a demure person.
No, please do, because that's what we lived with for 3 weeks.
I lose my temper, but I've got a good heart and soul.
Well,
she sits there.
Okay,
she's as hard as nails.
You've had your
Don't do it, folks. Don't do it. She's a con artist.
And they try and shut you down.
I wouldn't want to sit and talk to lying
trash. Well, I think that's sad. I think we should have lied.
Yeah, not good.
So you think what you like?
It's a terrible thing to say.
You're showing yourself in your true colours, Kim. You are showing yourself in your true colours.
She is trash.
She wants to draw a line.
She is trash.
No, she isn't.
Anyone that would stand in a group of 7 people and bully.
Wow. I mean, it was quite
Dan,
a moment.
it was terrible. And another thing, her sister,
Yeah.
you see, when
Who
I
was
walked
there
out
next
there,
to
I
her.
thought, when I walked out there, I thought, I've been lied to. Because there was Janet Street Porter with a judge's what have you. And I thought, this is a Mickey take. I thought, this is not to settle anything. I'm being stitched up. Then I saw her, that thing of a sister, who was leaning on her shoulder, mocking me. She was going, I thought, what is this? They'd set me up, that TV company. They told me it was a peaceable. Why was her sister, you've never seen since, on with her, leaning on her shoulder, sniggering at me, Dan? She was mocking me, sniggering as I was a piece of filth. There was Janet Street Porter with this damn thing. Dan, they set me up. They wanted a show. They bloody got one. They set me up.
They did.
And when I'll never forget, and it's a hard thing to say, I was very upset, and I said that they continue this. They would continue this. I thought, you cruel pigs. I went on, and when I said, and I watched the film after, I don't know how she could have been so evil. The sister with her head on her shoulder. When I said, I have had a very hard, brutal life. When I played the film back after, I saw that bitch of a sister leaning on her sister, going. You know, Dan, you don't call them evil people. You really don't call them evil people. When a person is broken down and she is going...
Yeah, you were going through hell then, and you were trying to open up to them about why you felt the way that you did, and it was very, very personal. And they just wanted to shut you up the moment that you didn't play their game. And I think you're right. They were out to humiliate you, but actually you were able to expose them, which was what was so beautiful about it.
But the thing was, though, it's always been said, though, I mean, lovely Emma Willis. So
yeah,
Emma's
she's
gorgeous.
Lovely. Absolutely.
Oh, what a lovely. Folks, she's lovely. She said to me, she always says on the show, when she was on the show, you'd hear her say when I was watching from home, they don't like people that go in that house late. They don't like it. They feel as if they're not doing a good job. Have they had to put somebody in to place up? So there's always a resentment. And then there's always, oh, is she getting the same money as me? But she's doing 2 weeks later. There's so much resentment, she said. That's what I put up with. I mean, you know what? I'm a tough nut, but I'm a kind woman. I'm kind. I wouldn't hurt anybody for the world.
No.
I wouldn't. I'm a softie. I'm a right old softie. But what they put me through, and yes, you can know this, folks, all of you pigs that were in there, rotten, filthy pigs. I've never got over it. It has affected me.
Yeah.
My husband will tell you. But
So
you know
sad.
what? It has affected me. It has affected me. But you know what? I wouldn't want your consciences that you must have, although I doubt you have. You're a bunch of rotten pigs. You were utterly cruel, you were ruthless, and you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And it
So,
wasn't your
no
first
thanks with you.
It wasn't your first reality show, Kim, because you had been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where you had this fascinating exchange with Katie Price. Watch this.
You're a publicity seeker. You live and die for publicity, and you do it well. It's Shakespeare once said, we fear you protesters too much.
What do you mean?
You do publicity very well, and you protest all the time, but you love it.
So you're wrong. Did you know No,
You're a
I
twelve-
used to love it.
You know when you've come into the jungle twice.
Yeah.
And you're escaping. You've got 12 million people watching every night. And you know when you've been down a couple of times there, you know how to... Katie, please don't. I'm too old for this. You've got a lovely body, but don't pretend you hate it. You love it, dear.
No, of course I love my job.
You came up from the shower the other day, and as a woman of 6 I thought, grow up. You came
absolutely love my
yes,
job.
well, please say you do. Don't insult my intelligence.
I
You
didn't
went to
say
the
I
shower-
didn't.
You went to the shower the other day, and you know you've got to go. You know the men love it. I can imagine you're in that shower doing all this business.
No, actually, you was wrong.
It's all over the front of the papers. You could dip yourself in the pond just as well.
But I didn't in the show.
please
Actually,
don't.
ask Camilla. I had my
Katie,
best
you
on.
love it, darling. You love it. And I don't blame you. For some reason, you fascinate the papers. Go for it as long as you can, but don't pretend you're not causing a lot of it, please.
How did you two get on, Kim?
Smash it. That kid never she spoke to me and chatted away. I was telling the truth, wasn't I? Come on, I was absolutely telling the truth.
You were. You actually summed up the psychology of Katie Price perfectly, and I think it took her aback a little bit.
Look what's going on now, Dan. Dan, look what's going on now with Katie Price. She's still... But I don't dislike Katie.
No, she's a decent enough person.
But Katie knew, I mean, what I said was 100% the truth. It's going on now, and she's 46, 45. It's going on now. But she's always been, but she never held it against me, because honestly, she chat to me, and she looked at me as much to say, you know, much to say, yeah, Kim, yeah. Credit to her. No, but don't sit there and say, I don't know why people are interested. Oh, behave yourself. Behave yourself. But I was told that to this day, years later, this was 2009, she's now still seeking all the publicity she can in the papers, not blaming her, but don't say, I don't know, I'm in the paper. Oh, get off, Kate, for God's sake. Do it.
Indeed. Okay, Kim, I've got one more clip, one final clip, and this is my personal favourite of you. It's back on this morning. I don't even know if you remember it, but there was this comedian called Kate Smurthwaite, and she used to come on my GB News show as well. And this one was probably the least funny comedian. I mean, I actually think we need to have her up on the Trade Descriptions Act, because she never said anything funny as far as I was concerned. But you two were having a debate about whether you should be able to call people darling or not. And she said, oh, absolutely not. This betrays all feminist sensibilities. And you put her in your place. Watch this.
Dear, what is the harm? What is wrong with you, woman? We are living on this earth today.
Yeah,
and you had your 5. Shut up. We're living on this earth today. Stop it. You won't change me. You're looking
before you tear their heads off.
But Kim, no, it's nothing. And you see a little old lady sitting there earning a few bob, and she says, "Hello, darling," and you say, "Don't call me darling."
But
get a life.
You're quite right. Of course, there are bigger issues. You know, I'm not suggesting.
I hope you realise that. I was worrying.
But hold on a minute. If you're so sure there are bigger issues, why did you decide to come on national TV and talk about this one? Like,
because I'm
like to talk about the war in Syria. Because I've got some points about the way the rebels have been on.
I tell you what, ladies, you can both discuss that over a nice cup of tea.
That you would come on and want to discuss, and I'm defending and saying, don't pick on people that don't mean any harm to you at all.
No. Quite right. But Dan, people are going to watch this. Please, folks, don't, when you watch this, think, is Kim always right? I don't think. But I think on these things I say, I am. If I say to an old lady, hello, my love, how you doing? And her little face lights up. What is wrong with being nice and trying to show a little something? What is wrong with this? But, oh, folks. And there she's sitting there. Oh, please, I can't even. Do you know what? There's more important things to discuss. Our health, our families, our loved ones, things that are of paramount importance. Why do we get involved in all this absolute tripe? What is wrong with you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Kim.
I may appear, I'm a kind person.
You are.
Do you know what, my love? But I tell it like it is, because what's the point of doing anything else? Let's stop falsifying and lying and covering things we know should be exposed. Stop!
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live.